think that I just come in there and look for knockouts, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, I'm here. Who want to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
My goal is to demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Bodywork. How y'all doing, man? I think we was having some technical difficulties, and they would not allow me to actually upload my thumbnail, man. I don't know, man. I think YouTube, it's one of them days, man. I'm not even gonna blame YouTube. I'm just gonna say, man, welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. Man, listening, waiting, watching, just watching everything play out. And I appreciate y'all watching everything play out this weekend, man. I'm just like, man, where are we at as boxing fans? I'm excited because we getting some fights. We're seeing some things, so I'm optimistic. But you know what my lane is. My lane is to put stakes in the ground, to actually speak on things and talk about things in a manner in which everybody may not. Because this is fruits and veggies, not that Reggie. I'm not going to go into the curriculum, but there's a whole lot of gaslighting going on. First of all, when I look at this Jake Paul, Logan Paul, thing, where's my camera? My camera ain't even on here. What in the world is going on? Oh my goodness, man. Why is this thing doing this? What in the world? I told you, man. YouTube, StreamYard. I don't know what's going on, man. Y'all, I don't know what's going on. Nothing is. They don't want me to do this live, y'all. They do not want me to do this live, man. Look at this. Ain't this crazy? They really don't want me to do this, man. But hey, I'm gonna do it anyway. This is what y'all gonna be looking at, because it won't even let me come out. I'm trying to come out. Can you hear me though? Just make sure. Just tell me if you can hear me. Cause that's all that really matter, man. It's all that really matter. That's the thumbnail. It wouldn't let me upload my thumbnail. It won't let me bring my camera on. Can you hear me? Somebody, one of my homies, somebody tell me, can you hear me? Okay. All right. AC say you good. All right. Listen, I'm looking at this card. I'm looking at this Jake Paul card, and I don't hate Jake Paul. I do not like what it represents to the sport of boxing, because if you look at it in hindsight and you really look at what actually happened, man, what actually happened? Like, first of all, it's like I heard this, and it's some people out here that's way more successful on YouTube. They have bigger numbers, they have more access to boxers, they have all of that. You know what I'm saying? So I give them praise and credit for being hardworking and all of the contacts and all this, but we look to these people to put things out. They pretty much set the standard or set the tone. And I actually learned this week that hardcores, they only look at hardcore like they're 5%. So they're catering to everything they say, they're catering to the 95%. Like, so I guess I would be one of them people that's 5%. That's why I don't really stress over the numbers, because if the powers that be, the people that know, the ones who have a chokehold on the game, big mics, big loudspeaker phones, big broad couches, these people view hardcore as like 5%. So I'm in the 5% lane. I'm for the people that's following the bouncing ball all along. People that keep things binary. Soccer balls going in goals, balls going in holes. You know, did you smash or not? Did you make some money or not? Like, there's no in between. Yes or no. No gray area. These kind of people. They said they were actually wanting, they were sitting there and waiting for Jake Paul to put Iron Mike Tyson out of his misery. I said, first of all, that's disgusting. Second of all, like, you know, it only happens, and I hate to do this, it only happens when it comes down to us that they actually do this, man. Nobody would actually want to see one of their legends get put out. But look, this is the catch. This is the catch. In the same week when they were waiting and championing for Jake Paul to put Mike Tyson out of his misery, these same people said that Lomachenko was too old for Tank. But when they found out that it was going to be one belt, where Sheik was going to try to do this one belt, and he's going to try to do this, it's going to be a dictatorship. People don't see it coming, but it's going to be a dictatorship. He's going to try to make everything down to one belt. We all know it was too many belts. But bringing it down to one, we already know what's going to happen. You already see what's happening with these stats. You're already seeing what he did with BoxRec and how they took the WBA off. Listen, they are ruffling a lot of feathers, and they're doing a lot of things, and they're moving a whole lot of parts, and the people are like, yeah. So they're championing Jake Paul, and they're championing Sugar Daddy Sheik to take over. They're like ushering us. They're selling us up the river to these people. One is a novelty boxing. Another guy is a promoter from across the pond. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, like, maybe you do work in a place where, you know, they outsource the work and you have to answer to some people over in China or England or somewhere. I don't know. I really wouldn't feel comfortable with that. I really wouldn't want to put the creme de la creme, like the essence of boxing, in somebody's hand that's across the pond, because for us in the States, that means doomsday. And I'm going to digress. But once they heard that he was going to make one belt, guess what they said? And they said, if you had to do it in one division, who would you give the belt to? They said they would give the belt to Lomachenko. So Jake Paul was acceptable. They was praying. They put money. They bet. They put their hard-earned money, donations, super chats, anything. They put their hard-earned money, banking and praying for Jake Paul, who was 27 years old, to try to put Mike Tyson out of his misery at 58 years old. But turn around and say that Lomachenko was too old for Tank. But yet, if they go to the one belt system, the belt will go to Loma, even though he just turned down an offer from Tank. I was like, man, that's why I say, man, I'm not in that 95%. You can't just put a battery in my back. You can't just twist my little dial in my back and then tap me on my rear end and send me on my way. I'm going to run up and be all zany and crazy. You can't do that with me. And it's like, it's no, and I hate to say this, it's no other culture. Like if let's just say Jackie Chan, right? You take one of the hottest young martial artists right now, they would not be campaigning for him to go take out Jackie Chan. If Bruce Lee was still here, they wouldn't be campaigning for them to go take out Bruce Lee. Like, we the only ones where they look and see. Now what happens is the reputation of Mike Tyson, the last image and everything is that's the last image of how everybody's saying he looks bad, he looks old. Listen, don't shoot the messenger. Magic Johnson looked at it and said, this is not good for boxing. But what do I know? Magic Johnson right down the street, Landover, Maryland. He got the Magic Johnson theaters. Like, Magic Johnson, like, he's doing it bigger than Shaq, and we know how much money Shaq got. So Shaq is for it. He's with the shenanigans. He wants to start the basketball versus football, and they get into boxing. Like, really disrespecting the true value. And what's going to happen, and what has been happening, is the value of some of these caricatures, these gimmicky people, they're going to get compensated more than the people who's been doing it since they've been 6 and 7 years old. Magic Johnson said this looks bad. Why? Because the last image that you have, now granted, they paid Mike Tyson a huge chunk of change, right? And who are we to say that Mike is all right? I mean, he done took a lot of punches to the head. He been do some things, you do shrooms, ayahuasca, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know, man. I would just like for us, when it comes down to our legends, like, let them be legends. And stop letting them be used as a catalyst to be put down. Like, it's to me, it was kind of sad, man. I didn't like seeing Mike I didn't know he was going to have a knee brace. You know, I didn't know Jake was going to get all this credit and it's really like a real win and all. I'm like, man, stop it, man. It did nothing to Mike's legacy. It may have tarnished him. It was a big bag. It was a huge bag. Everybody would say, oh, man, you wouldn't turn down 20. But for me, it depends on what it is. Because I'm not wearing no dress. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing nothing like that's going to, you know what I'm saying, emasculate me. And I'm not going to be out there trying to punch a legend in the head at this point. So, I mean, they did that to really tarnish Mike's legacy. And then you hear what his brother said. Oh, man, I killed Mike after that. I'm like, see, you see how it go? And it's entertainment. It's entertainment. But when I look at the whole card, what wound up happening? Did Mario Barrios, did his stock go down or did it go up? Shadeja Green, did her stock go down or did it go up? She got the dub. But did you hear the crowd when that verdict was rendered? I'm not going to say she lost that fight by any means. But did you hear the crowd when they said that she won? Like, is it just me? Like, so I don't know where her stock went. I don't know if her stock went up or down. Like, yeah, she got out there. I think Shushu, his stock, his stock might have broadened because now more people know him. They might be like, oh, this was the guy. But, you know, he knocked Buddy down in the 8th round, but he didn't get the stoppage and do nothing spectacular. So, yeah, his stock probably rose because he was in front of all of those people, and they did, you know what I'm saying, humongous numbers. But the broadcast was kind of weird, twitchy, buffering. And in hindsight, I really don't know who won. Because after this, I'm looking at, man, like, listen, Katie Taylor, bro, they need to investigate. They need to do an investigation. They need to review this fight, and they need to suspend Katie Taylor, man. She gets my UFC fighter of the week, man. Like, it's ridiculous, like, what she did. That was ridiculous what she did to Amanda Serrano, and that's the second time she's done that. That's the second time they robbed that girl. They robbed Amanda Serrano, man. Like, the first one, I would say, okay, man, if you just twisted my arm, I'd be like, okay. But we know who won it the first time. This second time, this was egregious, man. Y'all remember when Mike Tyson was like, remember back in the day when Mike Tyson got, when the whole ear biting thing happened, and he was in there with Holyfield, and he was just like, oh man, just look at my eye, man. I can't go home and feed my kids like that. Like, Amanda Serrano, she didn't have, she might not have been in the same situation as Mike, but man, did y'all see, you could put your whole index finger in that hole that was up there on her eye. And then there's clips in slow motion, and the referee didn't do anything. The girl clenched her and was leaning in with her head and leaning her over the ropes, trying to concuss her. You could see her leading with the head. She's my UFC fighter of the week, man. I say, man, I don't like Katie Taylor after that, man. I used to think, okay, yeah, she's a hard fight. Chantel Cameron better than her anyway. Chantel Cameron boxed her head off. Amanda Serrano was about to put her down. I almost won some bread, like in the 5th round. I had the 5th or 6th round, Amanda Serrano putting her out of her misery. And she was on her way, and she got the head button her. Might have gave that girl a concussion, but guess what? This is what I can always say about Amanda Serrano. She may not have the accolades of Clarissa Shields, right? She may not. But I have never seen Amanda Serrano not be a classy woman and boxer. She handled that with so much grace. And she said she was going to bring her father them belts, you know what I'm saying? And she didn't, and that was touching. But she handled that with so much grace and so much class. I would have lost my mind in that situation. You know what I'm saying? I would have lost my mind in that situation, but I salute her. She's the real winner in my book. I just say that Katie Taylor, man, if you talking some UFC, she might well go ahead and go get it busy, man. She'll fit right in. The second biggest winner was, well, I would say the second one is Shakur. I go back and forth between who won between Shakur and Brian Norman, but let's just go with Brian Norman. You know why? Let's go with Brian Norman for 2 reasons. Brian Norman Sr. and his son. Let's say they won, and this is why they won. They won because of Mario Barrios' performance. YouTube will not let me be great, man. YouTube is not trying to let me be great, y'all. Okay, let me see. Let me stop crying. Okay. Listen, Brian Norman Sr. won because, one, even though he didn't get the payday and get the defense under his belt, which I wanted him to do on the Keyshawn card, right? But what did he do? He had the privilege of seeing the performance that Boots had, get some more film. That was 12 more rounds of film on him. Then he also got 12 more rounds of film on Mario Barrios. Now, the performance that Mario Barrios had and the leverage that those two guys have, now, Brian Norman Jr. might look like Brian Norman Jr. might be able to get a fight with one of them, with them showing the vulnerabilities that they actually had. So he gets the leverage. One, he got more footage of Boots last week. He got more footage of Mario Barrios this week. the wild card or the dark horse of the division, which is Amantis Stanionis, the guy that I think nobody truly wants to fight, because everybody always was saying Mario Barrios, and then whenever Brian Norman said, "Oh man, listen, man, he just got it. What has he done in the sport and all this other stuff, right?" So he got the privilege of watching them two. He got the privilege of having more film study on tape, and now he also has the benefit of. Y'all remember when I came out and I did this video, right? And if you don't, all you gotta do is go back into the if you don't, all you gotta do is go back into the little playlist or whatever. I did this. Remember when I came out with this video and I said, you know, I said don't fall victim to this divide and conquer stuff where they'll pit two fan bases against each other and have us all rah ready to pull up, send locations, run down, you know what I'm saying, shoot them up, bang bang style, right? And we don't get the fights. So remember when I did that, the day I did that, and this was a couple months ago, the day I did that thumbnail, right? That was the time when I actually realized that Brian Norman and Eddie Hearn were they both were playing a clout game. Right? Because once the paperwork was submitted from Quran, I said this in that video, so this is how dated, it's dated because it's been a while. I said, listen, man, don't be divided and conquered because once he put that paperwork in for the IBF, it was a wrap. That's how I kept saying. I said, man, it's a wrap, man. Once you put that in, man, can't nothing be made, can't nothing happen, can't do this. Nobody wanted to believe me. I said, man, stop going back and forth about this Boots and Norman stuff, man. They are playing it up. And so some content creators like rushed up on Brian Norman talking about I think you this and that. It's like, listen, man, Brian Norman Sr. was in a compromising position because he kept telling us, he kept saying, man, look, listen, man, Eddie, he foolish. Eddie, man, he foolish. He said, man, yeah, y'all know. So what Brian Norman was doing was he was playing the game and seeing, okay, well, how much? And then putting the ball on Eddie because Eddie was going to try to make it look so egregious that he walked away from so much money when Brian Norman and them already knew that they could not fight. So yes, he was going to maximize his exposure and the buzz on the YouTube streets. Eddie Hearn was going to do the same thing. People do this on YouTube all the time. And I say, listen, do not get caught up in the hype and get what I call divided and conquered, where you'll pit 2 or 3 fan bases against each other, tribe against tribe, and all of the time the promoters and the powers that be already know that the fight ain't gonna happen and the reasons why, but we don't. Only I had did my homework at that present time. And guess what happened? Smoke had brought it to my attention the other day when I was on this channel, because I don't go over to this other channel no more. You know what I'm saying? I been saw how emotional they were, you know what I'm saying, whenever you talk about their fight or anybody from up there. These the same, you know, the same guys that was out there talking about, yeah, man, no, yeah, he's a hype job. When Fortune was going to fight it, when I heard all of them guys, when I heard like 3 or 4 of them guys over there talk about how Naoya anyway was a hype job and Stephen Fortune was going over there, and then when I heard Stephen Fortune say it, I was like, yeah. I said, man, you got some people around you, bro, that and I'm seeing that it's happening along with Boots too. You got some people around you to where they don't really want to hear the truth. They can be critical about everybody else, but the minute somebody actually say something about them, they get emotional. You know what I'm saying? They can't. These are the kind of people that can dish it, but they can't take it. They'll jump you. It'll be like 3 or 4 of them, and you trying to stand on your square like how Norman was before. It'd be like 1 of you and 3 or 4 of them, and they'll just be rah, 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 rah. Long story short, Pop Smoke from Smoke Session, he brought it to my attention that Rachel had came on, and Rachel spilled the beans. Rachel came on and said, listen, now, see, this is the difference between somebody like myself and somebody like her. See, she's a professional. She deal with fighters. She has contact. She got people on her phone where she could pick up a phone and blah, blah, blah. I can't even get an interview. It's just I be doing my homework following the bouncing ball and putting out information in real time, so I already know what's going on. I just be having to wait enough time for it to come out. Well, guess what? From the time I put this out to the other day when she did that, guess who has been exonerated? Brian Norman Sr. So he had 2 victories in a weekend where his son was chilling, still recovering, surveying the land. Why? Because Rachel finally came out and slammed the door and basically said all that shit y'all were talking about, Eddie Hearn doing this and all this. Y'all knew damn well y'all wasn't going to be able to make the fight, because as soon as Karan put in that paperwork, it was a wrap on negotiations. That you had to do something else. Like you had to pay 20 grand and then boom, that's the extension, and then you can go ahead and try to unify. Well, remember I always say, you know, people don't like the truth until their pastor said it. So since Rachel said it now everybody like, oh yeah, because Rachel said it was already over here at Bodywork. Bodywork had already put this information out. If you don't believe me, go back and look at the video. So there's no need to debate. There's no need to argue, fuss, and fight. Brian Norman and them was actually exonerated. And he actually showed you that, like, a lot of time people be all rah, like, yeah, I think you should blah. They don't be knowing what the fuck they talking about. They fall victim to the whole buzz of the internet. People thought he was falling victim to the buzz, but see, when his son dropped out of that fight because of injury, see, the heads turned back the other way. They made a strong pivot back the other way because it was looking like, okay, well, shoot, Boots and them, they didn't win the purse bid and all that. And then you heard about a low ball offer with Conwell. So the Conwell offer, see, that opened up a whole lot of beans because one, Conwell was getting fleeced as well. And then Conwell did an interview saying, well, damn, I was shocked to know that that's what they think my market value would be. That was kind of eye-opening to me. But he was getting fleeced as well. Why? Because they wasn't going to be able to do nothing. And if they would have done that, they would have had to drop that belt. So that was a bluff tactic. They didn't win the purse bid. They let Karan and them win the purse bid. Then they had to pull it back from them. So then, if you see, how was Eddie Hearn able to offer up Karan to Blair when Blair was at that press conference? How? They must have some kind of something going on. Remember? Because remember, Eddie lost the purse bid. So how much bread, how much cheese, even though we don't pocket watch, these are for the people that want to follow the bouncing ball and look at the business and all that. Do you think they actually, we're going to park like this. Do you think they have something set up with Karan since they didn't win that purse bid? They had to negotiate a deal and pay some money. So I don't know what happened. If you got some context, that might be a hole you might want to venture down off and figure out how that is. Because isn't it ironic that Karan and them, they had their own promotions because they won the purse bid, right? So how was Eddie able to offer up Karan for Blair? If Karan and them wasn't it, they don't have no kind of business or nothing going for. That's a good parking lot question. That's something that's things that make you go, So Brian Norman and them, they had got kind of quiet. They were looking like, oh, okay, well, you're going to shine because now you get to defend your strap. You get to get more of the fan base in Norfolk. You know what I'm saying? Now people can say, well, now after that fight, if he would have went on that Keyshawn card, they would have been able to say, well, at least you defended your strap. They'll have a little bit more material. A lot of people from this side, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people from, Virginia and East Coast people would have known, you would have ingratiated yourself more with them. Maybe you would have got a knockout, a highlight reel or something. So Norman and them were looking good. When the sun fell out, people were looking back like, okay, well, Boots still might be winning this whole tennis match between the Normans and them, right? He might be because he's going to have a fight. He had Bam on the card. He did this. And then comes the performance. So just like how clout works, you know what I'm saying? Just like how clout works, Norman seeing them hop back out and he's back in the streets again. He's back in the YouTube streets. And now in Rachel, she pulled out that she validated that nuclear missile that she had, that boom where it just obliterated every sense of what they like. If people still arguing which I see people are still they doing a typewriter around it. But if people are still arguing it, that's because they want to just be combative. And they don't like the truth. I keep telling y'all, people don't like the truth. You're like, well, hold on. How did Shakur win, Mike? If you listen, I'm going to tell you, right? He had the same benefit that he had when he seen Schofield fight and he got dropped. And he went back to Twitter, son. And he said, oh, man, look at this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had much. And I said, man, it's just like, oh, damn, it's crazy when you not fighting, when you should have had a fight, but you not fighting, but you get the luxury of being able to sit back and then judge somebody else on their performance. This is like the person that act like they hurt in practice, and then they like, oh, man, I would have intercepted. Oh, man, I would have threw this. It's like, well, what can you say? Because we out here practicing. We actually got the pads on. We running the drills. We getting hit. You know what I'm saying? We catching footballs. It's raining. You know, you over there sitting down. Like, he went right back this weekend after seeing Zepeda, and guess what he said? Food. I said, man, y'all, these guys need PR. These guys need public relations, man. You shouldn't be saying that man is food. Why? Because that's what you're seeking. You're seeking food. So I had everybody's undergarments all in a bunch when I came out with this. And I said, man, let's just take this one guy out. Let's just take this one guy out of the equation. The one who he ain't the face, but everybody want to know. They ask other fighters how hard he punch, what color is his boxes, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, what's his vertical? They ask everybody from the Russells to anybody that would sit down and talk to him. Like, they'll ask them all about this. I said, let's remove him. I said, when you look at these guys, who's actually chasing greatness? Who's chasing it? Because all I keep hearing now is Devin. You know, I thought they was in negotiations, right? Which they still could be, you know, but T.O. came on and said, I ain't received nothing. Yeah, you didn't receive anything, but that don't mean y'all weren't negotiating. Y'all wasn't kicking the ball around because Bill and them was acting all using T.O. name for a while. But now all I keep hearing about for Devin is Duarte. I'm like, well, what about Puelo? You don't want to go get your strap back? Like his biggest knee pad wearing, you know what I'm saying, tonsil jewelry having, throat coat spraying fan. He won't even address the fact that Devin don't even want to go back and get his strap. He don't want to address the fact that Devin, he don't even want to fight Sandor Martin. He don't want to address the fact that Devin priced himself out. He used the price yourself out tool when it came down to Paro. He's still not admitting the whole Shakur situation where, so I'm like, who's chasing it? Virgil? He might be. Why? Because he was over there at Riyadh. He was over there at Riyadh, and the list is, this the list. Boots, Bud, and Fundora, if that whole spin, you know, whatever's going on with that spin stuff. So, you have a strong argument that Virgil is chasing greatness, right? And that's, so if you look at it objectively, when you look at who he fought, because I think he actually lost the Bodywork, you know what I'm saying? And he got dropped twice. He didn't come back and finish that guy. Like, yeah, he buzzed Bodywork, but I think Bodywork did enough to win. And Bodywork had the title. So I'm not sure if Virgil did enough to actually relieve that man of his strap. But having shared the ring with him, you know, his past, you know, the performances he's had before, and then looking forward, if you were in conversations to fight Bud, who people say is number one pound for pound, right? You in conversation to fight Fundora, which would be he got two straps. He got two straps, right? And then you got Boots, who y'all have a history from 47, and he do actually have a strap, and he'll be moving up, and people be saying he's the boogeyman. He's gonna take over. He's the second coming of Roy Jones, and he's gonna take over everything from 47 to 68. That's what they say, not me. So you can make an argument that, okay, with that move and then him saying we're very close, we'll know next week, you could say he's chasing greatness. Boots, We don't know if he's moving up. We don't know if he's staying. He left a lot of people with a lot of questions after that fight. But what we do know now, since the pastor said it, Rachel, since she said it, we do know now that all that shit Eddie was doing and all that. And I said, listen, man, I don't know if it's Boots. I said, I tend to believe that it's Eddie. Why? Because I be keeping my eye on Eddie. You know what I'm saying? I try not to shovel that shit towards Boots' way because I'm like, listen, man, Eddie is a smooth. I ain't gonna say, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna use the Mike Jack terminology, but you know, Eddie pretty smooth, man. Eddie is he, you know what I'm saying? He a slippery, you know what I'm saying? Slivery. Oh, I got a video called The Tale of Two Eddies, man. Well, I highlight everything good about Eddie and then the not so good things about Eddie. If you remember Jake Cutler, the quarterback from the Chicago Bears, remember they used to always do a segment about good Jake, good Jay, and bad Jay. Like when he's launching that and putting it on a, you know what I'm saying, to Brandon Marshall, when he's putting it on a down to Brandon Marshall, that's good Jay Cutler. But when he's throwing like 3 interceptions and ripping his chin strap off, that's bad Jay Cutler. That's the same thing with Eddie Hearn, depending on which fighter you like. So I didn't shovel a lot of that on Boots, but since Rachel, the pastor, since she dropped the bomb, now everybody can say what a lot of people had already known. All that shit was bullshit with the Normans. Again, so if people want to keep shitting on the Normans, go right on ahead. You just know that them people, they don't really have no real content. You know what I'm saying? Unless he give you something else to go by. At this point, we don't know what's going on with Boots. He said, man, I'm getting older. Maybe I have to move up. We're looking at Virgil. I'm like, wow. You know what I'm saying? My whole theory was, and it was the same energy I had for Subriel moving up and fighting Boots under that IBF. My whole thing was, go ahead and look at Bakram, man. So look, man. Go ahead and look at Bakram. Why? Because that will put you in the conversation. Just like Virgil. Right? So he want to take out Virgil, which is cool. Fits the green print, yes, it's cool. It just, remember I told y'all, when it comes to Oscar, I have trust issues. I have trust issues when it comes to Eddie too. I'll be honest, I got trust issues when it comes to all these promoters, for real. Because they'll let you run with some shit for like 3 months online and then come out and just douse that shit all at once. And all parties, from fighters to promotions to managers to trainers, they all know they just play us. But I say go get Bakram. Bakram is just like Subriel Matias was before he lost his strap. He is the librarian part 2. Nobody would say this man's name. This man said Bud name. This man said Fundora name. I have yet to hear anybody out here say that they would fight Bakram. I think Virgil was asked about him, but it's funny how this man got the IBF strap, and after the performance and him putting Zoo out, you would think if you were Highlander, you would go up there and you want to fight him because it's like, okay, he did that to Zoo. Hold my beer. Let me go show Bakram what's going on. But no, unfortunately not. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't keep the same energy. We really don't. That was my suggestion. I got shot down. So I'm like, man, I came out and did a video and saying we need a GPS on Boots. Where do you have them? Are we there yet? Right? Then when you look at Shakur, I've already done it. I hear a lot of people going into this vein now. They were too busy hating on Tank before, but now they just regurgitating shit and they're talking about Shakur in the fashion that he needs to really be talked about. And the fact that he had a record-breaking free agency where he had a fight. He said he was going to talk to Eddie over the weekend. They was going to have a meeting. And then the next thing you know, he was signed. I've never seen somebody become a free agent that fast and then sign up somewhere else that fast with a fight in mind. And I called it load management because this guy was coming off. And I like Cordina. I got love for a lot of them guys across the pond. It was just the circumstances in these standards that we tend to have where you don't fight a guy coming off a loss. Right? You don't fight a guy coming off of a loss, right? That's not acceptable for most people. Like the little dude from Baltimore, he could never do that. He can't never fight a guy coming off a loss, let alone a knockout loss. They get upset when somebody moves up to go see him, but they didn't get upset when Devin moved up and saw Little Regis. You know what I'm saying? It's just different strokes, right? He was getting ready to pick Cordina. I said it was load management because we all have high expectations for Shakur. I call him the definition. I know what he can do. His videos up there, me showing it in the videos, what he can do and how I feel about his boxing skills. So I said this was load management. All the Shakur fans they like, oh, who you expect him to fight? I'm like, well, we expect him to fight Tank. We expect him to fight Tank. You know what I'm saying? That's what, because we know that that's the Cold War. But it was no, that's just not gonna happen. They said it so much that I just was like, all right then, man. Let me not be out here just, you know what I'm saying, just busting my gun off in the air, wasting ammunition, man, because they don't have the same energy for the fight. I said, man, this is the only fight we should be clamoring and praising for because it's time. It's time. And I was beating a dead horse. And they said, it's just not going to happen, Mike, man. Just give it up. It's not going to happen. I'm like, all right, okay. All right. I've never heard of a guy go take a stay busy fight to fight his man in preparation for his mandatory. So when that fight got nixed, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people was happy. I wasn't happy that it got nixed. I was not happy when it got nixed. I wasn't happy with the fight being put on, but when it got canceled, I wasn't happy with that fight getting canceled. And I said, man, this might be bad. This might be a bad idea, man. Because Zepeda was getting more and more experience. And he's been fighting a lot of southpaws, man. Getting these different looks. And then he just went to war with Zepeda. And Shakur had the benefit of being able to sit on the sidelines and call this man food and ridicule him. And his clout went up after this weekend because Zepeda's stock might have taken a hit this weekend. It may have. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't even that vocal about what was next. It was all, I'm like, see, that's why I have trust issues when it come down to Oscar. So I can't say, like, if you say you want to be undisputed, then you leave a label with two labels. You leave a label with two belts where you was probably going to have to fight either, since you're not going to fight Shakur, you're going to have to fight a Moritaya or one of them guys below to get one of the guys above, which is Baranchek or Loma. You was going to have to fight one of them guys below, and then you was going to get a shot at one of them belts. You had to know that that's how top rank get down, so you had to know that was in the plan. So you walked away from that. You didn't go sign with Tank, you know what I'm saying, on a 2-fight deal to go do whatever to get, you know what I'm saying, to get the shot to go, you know, maybe take a fight and then fight Tank. Maybe take a rematch De Los Santos and then fight Tank. Because that's what Tank said. He said go rematch De Los Santos and then, you know what I'm saying, what's up? He said that at one point in time on Cigar Talk. He said that. You know what I'm saying? But they don't respect what A-Side say do. You know what I'm saying? They really don't. So we can't play that game. But you didn't make the move to go kick it with them guys over there that run Tank. Whether it's Tank, GTD, whatever. GTD, whatever. You didn't go over there. You went somewhere else. So you left where two belts was. You didn't go where the other belt was. You went on an island. And there was no talks of Andy Cruz, which we can't ask for. So I'm like, is that chasing greatness? Like, he's already done. Yeah, he's 3 divisions. He's been unified. You know, he has his Oscar Valdez. He has his Nakatilia. He got Conceição, as we see, just went to war with Oshaki. He got some marquee names on his resume. But for his size and where he should be and his skill level, he's in the same boat. Like, people don't put the same pressure they put on Tank for him as far as his capabilities. They want Tank to go up to 47, fight Conor Ben. They would never ask Shakur to go do no shit like that. Or Boots, or nobody up there. But it's different. They would never even ask Devin to go fight Boots. So can we say he's chasing legacy? Teofimo. Is he chasing greatness? I think he's just holding on to a strap. Because El Rayo say he won't even say his name, and then we're seeing that that whole rematch clause and this and that, and you know, blah, 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 because it's looking like Pitbull is getting ready to fight somebody else, which leaves Ryo on the table, and Tio won't even say his name. That would be a unification. Tio was running around talking that, you know what I'm saying, that bananas and pajamas stuff, you know, but I'm not sure if I heard any moves about him really trying to make something concrete with him and Tank. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if I think I took that overlay out because I got tired of asking why not? Why not? Tank and Tio. When I was saying that, people was like, oh man, here you go. You coming out of left field. A couple weeks later, yeah, man, Tank and Tio, they should probably get it on. So we thought he was going to get it on when they was in negotiations with Devin Haney. And that's starting to look more, the more time go by, that's starting to look like cannon fodder. Now he's saying that he wants to fight Bud Crawford. But he also did not go after that Brian Norman smoke, which is 7 pounds up, which if he went up there, took care of Brian Norman, or he could have took care of the little pup and Keyshawn in preparation, since Keyshawn, you know what I'm saying, is up under that family tree with Bud. That's like Shakur, they in that family tree. He could have took out the young pup on his way to the big dog in Bud. But he chose Claggett. He really lost to Ortiz. You know, but the business of boxing got in the way, and because Jermaine Ortiz, he's promoting himself, he's showing more of his personality. Even he got his guy out of there this time. He said, "Listen, I'm not leaving it up to chance. I'm not leaving it up to the ref." You can see that it was a spark lit in his eyes. He's being more aggressive. If he would have got that Jermaine Ortiz, somebody that they feel like they could have marketed better and all that, they probably would have swayed the decision towards him. So we don't know if Teofimo Lopez is chasing greatness or not. So when we look at the powers that be and we look at everybody that we actually care about and all this, we don't know who's really chasing greatness. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody want Tank to be the greatness and do all of this and all that. The guy who said he don't care about belts, he just want the bag, you know what I'm saying? And I just hope he get the big names. I think we got a 3-year run he's going to go over where it's going to start filtering out and he's going to start getting these big names and he's going to go on that run like Floyd did. You know, he already kind of started. You can put Ryan on there, and regardless of what y'all want to say, you can put Frank on there. But people already that's why he's not even on here, because people are already going to try to stab you in the heart if you ever say he's already doing great things. Like you do for Shakur and Devin. If you say they already done some great things, and Tio, they already done some great things, they just need to add on to their legacy. You can't say that about Tank without getting stabbed or smacked in the back of your shit. So I was asking who's chasing greatness. I don't know. I really don't know. All I know is that you know, Shadeza's stock didn't grow. Mike Tyson's, his legacy kind of is the image and the, you know, the morale, you know, and how people look at it. Magic Johnson talking like that, you know what I'm saying? He's way more higher than me on that aristocratic scale. If he's talking like that, who was known to be at fights, we've looked over and seen Magic at a Tank fight or Magic at this fight or that. Like if he's saying that was a black eye, I don't know where boxing is going, but if you look at it, man, it was almost like a lot of people was on sale. Even if you look at that guy Lucas Body, they were saying that man should be able to fight Tank because he knocked out H2O. And so this Trojan horse, man, in novelty boxing and the Trojan horse with the Sheik, man, we're gonna see how this play out. And in the midst, a lot of people took hits, man. Amanda Serrano took a huge hit, man. She won in my book. She won in my book, man. But that girl was supposed to have that, man. She was supposed to get it. We got to see what the Normans do and what their next fight is and what Top Rank have. But right now, Shakur looked like the biggest winner this weekend, man. Why? Because he's seen how Tevin Farmer could have success and his dimensions are different. So, and Shakur's the type, he's very cerebral. That's why Shakur like to go and spar. You know what I'm saying? He's one of them guys. See, Shakur, I believe Shakur is one of them guys that all you got to do is show him how to do something one time, and he can damn near master it in a couple of attempts. So really, what he saw from Tevin Farmer and what Tevin Farmer was able to do with Zepeda, he always feel like, all right, I can do it. I can pick that lock. That's easy, because with my dimensions and then my accuracy, and then I'm respectfully, he's on a higher level than Tevin Farmer. Tevin Farmer is a veteran. I think if Tevin might have had maybe one more fight in between, if he would have had maybe one more fight in between or before Moritalia, before he got Moritalia and then going into this fight, Tevin Farmer would have definitely won. Because a lot of people, I mean, you know, they was not going to fuck up the apple cart and not let Zepeda win. They wasn't going to do that, man. Did y'all know what night it was, man? They brought in special delivery for a lot of these guys. And me, myself, before the fight, I was saying, I hope Tevin Farmer mess up. I hope he mess up the apple cart. You know what I'm saying? I hope he mess up the plans. I hope he be that monkey wrench that jump in there and just fuck up all the gears. And he damn near almost did it, man. Nothing for Tevin Farmer to hold his head down about. You know what I'm saying? He might have needed a knockoff, maybe just a little bit more rust. But William Zepeda bit down on his gum shield, and he pretty much got the edge by outworking Tevin Farmer. He did a lot of body work, you know what I'm saying? He threw a lot of punches. So I think Shakur might be the biggest winner. Why? Because somebody gave Schofield a hard time and dropped him. Somebody dropped Zepeda. He's seen Abdullah Mason get dropped twice, and he has the benefit of having not fought. And he gets to critique these guys and say whatever he wants, and people gonna be like, "Yeah, man, ain't no way, man, ain't no way Zepeda gonna beat him." Even though they still gonna have to fight. You know, that's the bad news, y'all. If y'all thought that I'm gonna be like, "Nah, they don't." Nope, they still need to fight. Absolutely. Those are my weekend winners. You know, looking at these cards, Duarte, that was a toss-up. The best fight probably was that Zerto fight, that Zerto and Chris Billiam Smith. I mean, I thought they needed to stop that fight, but that was probably like the best fight this weekend. That probably was like the best fight this weekend. That Zerto, and I'm not a big fan of Zerto. I think he was weight bullying a lot of the times, and yeah, he is looking better now because now he's probably fighting in the correct weight class now. You know, but that was probably the best fight I've seen. And overall, man, we gotta be careful what we co-sign, man. We gotta start thinking long-term and big picture, man. Like foreign and giving control and relinquish, it's like, no, man, I'm more of the thought and the ideology that you don't just scrap a whole system that's working. Like even on jobs, employees get fired all the time, and like especially let's just say in HVAC, like a trade. I mean, they will fire somebody, right? Who he might have messed up. You know, he might have short circuited something out. He might have, you know, burnt up a motor or something like that. Fire him after, you know, a couple incidences, right? Fire him to bring in a new guy that got to go through training. You don't know what his work ethic is. You don't know if he comes in on time. Like with a guy that's been there and that's been doing it, it's like, okay, well, you know, you can't send this guy to, you know, if on a scale of 1 to 10, if the job is past the 7, don't send this guy. He's not appropriate to send this guy to that job. If it's a 7, 8, or 9, don't send him. Send him to the job that's like max 6 and below. He might have to do more driving. But you don't just get rid of him. What you do is you keep him. You don't allow him to go on the job that's a 7 through 10 or 8 through 10. But if you do, you step him up. Like if you're going to send him on a 7, send somebody with him. You're going to send him on an 8, send somebody that already done it or is knowledgeable about it, send it. You don't just scrap them to go get somebody new. And that's what we're doing with boxing. Y'all want to scrap everybody. Like PBC, they can't catch a break. After all the success, all the big fights, they paying out they got the bag. Like they got Canelo and Tank, and those are the perceivable cash cows outside of what AJ. They can't catch a break. Top Rank, they pretty much get all the Olympians. They give you that starter pack. They get you ready. They build you up. You know, they do the Belonga thing. Look at all the people they built up and then put out, and look at what they were able to do. That's the starter pack company. They want PBC to be they want PBC to start to compete with the starter pack company, and their premier boxing champions is the name, man. And they wonder why they going that direction. They want the big ticket item. By the time you get on there, or as you move up in on that one, you got to be doing big things. It just is what it is. They're not the starter pack company. People don't look at it like that. But everybody's trying to nix what boxing is right now, and they're trying to give it up for novelty boxing or sell us across the pond. And I like the success they're having across the pond, but that is very dangerous. That don't shit like that over here in business work like that. Nothing. They'll let Eddie acquire a talent like Sabril Matias, stall him out, don't get him the big fight, put him on defense, make him lose the strap, and then cut him. Arrange for Boots to go over there, yeah, giving them a bag, putting them on at home, but then have them fight the same guy twice. And then fiddle-faddle around with paperwork and regulations and shit. And we have no clue. Before that fight, we had a strong indication of where Boots was going and what was going down. After that fight, we have no clue. And the people around him, those are not the people to go around to, because they're not going to be honest about him. They're not going to tell you like it T.I. is. They're not. So we don't know where Boots is at. We do know the Normans in them won. And I hope they suspend Katie Taylor, man. I hope they do, man. Maylazar Kanseba, man. What's up, man? Long time, man. I don't think I see you in here. Devin chasing a fake money bag. Yeah. Tonight, Arnold Barbosa look good. Devin can fight Barbosa Jr. Okay, I'm glad you brought him up. Yes. He washed Jose Ramirez, man. He washed him, man. I don't even know what them judges was looking at. I don't know what kind of scorecards. He washed Jose Ramirez, man. It wasn't the flashiest thing, but it was. I didn't get sleepy or nothing with that. I looked at it and I'm like, that was a nice little chess match where Barbosa showed coming off that last fight, because Buddy really won that last fight. Buddy really put the boom ping pals on him, man, from across the pond. That dude can box. He actually, in my opinion, he beat. So he got the nod on that one, and then he looked good against Jose Ramirez. Now I already knew Jose Ramirez was on the back, what they call it, the back nine. Jose Ramirez on the back nine. He done turned down like 4 opportunities at the championship because he know whenever he fight over there in California, he can pack that stadium out, and it don't matter who it is, and the promoters know that, so they gonna keep letting them do that. So this was Robert Garcia was disgusted, you know what I'm saying, and all that, like Chris Big Head Mannix and the way they were calling them fights. I don't know what, and Sergio Mora, he would have his little takes that I agree with, but for the most part, the way they were calling them fights, man, they were not calling nothing. Like when that Tevin Farmer fight, the way they were calling that Tevin Farmer Zepeda fight, they would not call anything Tevin Farmer did. They was doing that all night for the favorite. I'm like, man, listen, man, y'all don't have to do that, because it's gonna look real bad. Like, because remember when Chris Mannix, when he said his score, and I'm like, I don't know what fight he looking at, and then the judges came out and they made it like, and he was like, oh yeah. The judges, I was like, see, I don't know what fight Chris Mannix was watching. Some of the shit they be saying be so ridiculous during the fight, and when the scorecards come out, you're like, okay, so what fight was y'all watching? Because sometimes the judges was very close, and then some of them decisions were just wacky, man. Wacky, man. And I was over there I was in the Golden Boy chat, man, looking at that Riyadh card, man. Man, the way this world is, man, it was people in there just pulling the skin card all day. I'm like, man, is this what boxing and boxing talk has come to? I'm talking about openly, overt, just pulling the skin card, man. So if we go down this path with this novelty boxing, and we keep selling all of our assets and, acquiescing to what's going on across the pond, man, boxing is going to die. It's anemic. It's very anemic right now. And what's going to happen is the value of the people that's been doing this shit since they were like 6 years old, they're not going to get paid no big bucks. You're going to have to be a name and a character because you said you would slap such and such on Gillian Wallow podcast, or because you was, you know, you got on Cameron Mace and you said some, you know, yeah, tell this monkey, you know, people like that, that has not been doing it for 6 or 7 years. They're going to start getting the bag. You can get some of these guys that because they played in the NFL and they played basketball, once they start jumping in on this shit that Jake Paul doing, once they start doing that, man, it's a wrap. Y'all know this a wrap, right? You know boxing is going downhill, man. That's why when people are doing legitimate things, really chasing legacy, really holding down straps, really exhibiting boogeyman behavior, like really doing their thing in the ring, man, you got to value them. You got to say something. Y'all know my motto, silence is consent, man. Silence is consent. He said Shakur whispers love to argue who ducked and why Shakur needed to turn down. Yeah, like I'm past that, man. I'm on some big boy, grown man stuff, man. I'm not being divided and conquered no more out here in this boxing, because people just like to argue, man. I told you what they trying to do with me. They trying to jaw rule me. They try to be like, oh man, look, man, nobody care about it. You reading definitions and you doing that, but everybody doing that. Y'all notice how everybody wearing the Scully with the hoodie, and it's just weird out here. They'll knock you for something you doing and then go turn around and do it. You're not gonna 50 Cent jaw rule me, because guess what? I'm gonna keep crooning, baby. I'm gonna keep doing my thing. You know what I'm saying? You starting to see the people coming out here rocking vests, wearing Scullys and hoodies and shit. You know what I'm saying? Knocking me for it. It's wild. What's up, AC?
What's good, bro? Great cook tonight, man. Great cook, man. Basically, I'm coming up here just to ask a couple of questions and stuff like that, just to put these type of things out there in the ethos, like you say, put stakes in the ground.
Yeah.
When you look at what you presented tonight, with Shakur being the winner and everything, right? Now that he has the luxury to sit back, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I would say, what could be more detrimental, a flash knockdown or being booed in two performances? Like, if we had to put that on the scale, how would we measure that?
A knockdown.
Okay.
For him, you talking about for him?
No, just comparison. Just comparing. All right, Abdullah got caught twice in two flash knockdowns. Zapata got caught in a flash knockdown. Things like that. Just the flash knockdown versus the boo for public perception.
I think the knockdown, it's still going to be attributed to the knockdown. I only say that because they get the benefit of saying, oh, I mean, I still saw like that one fight, he get to still, when they walked out, he still get to say, man, it was 14,000 people in there, man. Go ahead with all that booing stuff. But that getting knocked down stuff, they ain't gonna let you walk that down. They ain't gonna let you live that down. AC, can you hear me? AC.
Oh, but basically, when I look at the Shakur and Tevin and Shakur and Tevin Farmer, and I compared them to both a potential Zapata fight, right? I'm gonna say it like this. I believe between Shakur and Tevin, they fight for two different reasons. Shakur fights, I guess, and his attitude may be, I have all the time in the world. I got Bud on my back, Andre Ward be in my dressing room. I'm already a superstar, and you see sometimes that's the way he acts. With Tevin Farmer, I think he's at a stage in his life where he realizes that, you know, it's a must win situation for him.
Mm-hmm.
Or if not a must win, a must really good showing. So somebody will call me for the next one. It may not be the fight that I want or I'm trying to get, but if I do good in that fight, then it's showing, I'm taking steps to come back and I might be still viable for like another 2 years. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know if he's vibing for a solid gatekeeper role or he still got a belt in his mind. So when I look at the dynamic between the two of them, I see the two of them fighting for different reasons. When I look at Zepeda's performance, I was still very impressed with Zepeda's performance because he's a machine, and that body work he was putting in was beautiful stuff. Tevin Farmer just is that tough of a guy because I remember when everybody was making excuses at 26 on why they didn't want to see Tevin Farmer, and I remember certain people who were there.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's like I'm never gonna be the person to write Tevin Farmer off and feel like, oh, he's just this. Nah, bro, you better respect that dude. That cockeyed motherfucker will fuck you up if you go in there playing around with him. You know what I'm saying? So I think I think the scorecards had it right. It was close. I just think Zepeda might have fell, not making any excuses for him, but I think he might have fell into the same trap that Boots fell into. I didn't take this guy as serious as I want to, or I didn't, spar looking for this type of fighter. I just sparred to win the fight, or some weird shit like that. I can't like necessarily put my thumb on it, but I don't know if Zepeda really took the whole Farmer thing as he should have, and as far as Zepeda taking a hit in public perception, I think it's going to be a slight hit, but it doesn't say that now people can run around and say, "Oh, he don't deserve the fight," because you call a man food, but what if he shows up a different Zepeda on that night? You fight him.
Well, the way I see it, this is the way I see it. The only reason why I say it, he's taking a hit because remember when people was already calling, they had already been calling Schofield's father Auntie Schofield and Mama Schofield, and after the thing, it got crazy. Like after that performance, and that was a dominant performance. You know, Schofield had a dominant performance. He got knocked down, right?
Yes, sir.
People went crazy after that, and Shakur was online being Twitterson, and a lot of people jumped on that wave. Yes. They're gonna do it now. They're gonna say, "Oh, well, man, maybe, oh yeah, man, if Tevin Farm, because that's what they're saying now. If Tevin Farm, I'm like, man, y'all don't, because they was doing it with the Moritaya fight. Yeah. I was like, man, y'all, you gotta respect Tevin Farmer, bro. Like Tevin Farmer took 3 years off, man. He's going back. Like those two moves. Who else doing that? Who else going around fighting Moritaya and then Zepeda?
Yeah, after a 3-year layoff.
Performances that he put up.
And after a 3-year layoff, bro.
Exactly. So you can say what you want, but see the way people are and the way YouTube is, and the people that the powers that be, they're gonna say, "Oh man, if Tevin Farmer dropped him, imagine what Shakur gonna do." It's like, well, yeah, I don't know if Shakur is gonna let his hands go like that. The way point. I don't know if he's gonna take those risks. The old Shakur, like the Shakur I grew to love, he would. Yeah, like this Twitter said, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the only reason why I'm like, listen, still make the fight with Zepeda, because there's this thing you do, Shakur, that you're some of your hardened fans, not the only fans, not the whisperers, but your hardened fans, the guys that still critique you will say, listen, you're different. You're not the Shakur that that fought your homeboy. What's his name again? That was his friend. He had fought at 30.
Uh,
The black dude.
what? My friend?
No, not your friend. Shakur's friend. He was saying
Oh,
that him
Herring.
and his dude.
Herring.
Yeah, Jamel Herring.
Mm-hmm.
You feel the Shakur you are today is not the Shakur that fought Jamal Herring. You feel what I'm saying? Now, if that Shakur was to face Tevin Farmer or Zepeda, I got that Shakur all day long. But this other Shakur, I'm starting to raise questions because it's like you want to keep this safe distance, but I don't want to make it about that. But as far as MMA Taylor, Katie Taylor, that shit was disgusting, bro.
But let me clear something up though. Before we transition back to Katie, let me clear this up. See, I'm not confused in that. See, Zepeda earned another stripe in my book this week because that's adversity and that's weathering through it. So that's different than the perception of what YouTube is going to run with, right?
Exactly.
So for me, he actually got one. He got something to be upset about. He got something to go back and work on. He got something to where he can't be like, oh, it was flawless. It's like, no, I got some stuff I need to clean up. And he got the activity. So although YouTube is going to act like he took a big ass hit, right? Even though YouTube, he actually put rounds in. He was in there with a defensive specialist, and he got some shit to go back to the drawing board and fix, which is not good for Shakur. So you can get carried away with what Twitterson is going to say about it, and YouTube gonna go crazy like, oh man, they could be all these memes. You got dropped by this cross-eye, do all this other shit. Tevin Farmer is almost like a Teflon Don who actually showed that he could put you down, and he's just now getting back lathered up again. This is only like his second or third fight since he took that hiatus. So it's and I'm not getting confused by what YouTube and the power that be gonna say about this. I understand that Zepeda just earned a stripe and he got some shit that he gonna be like, nah, I can't look like this. I gotta tighten up. Like now he got some shit, some fire lit up under his ass, unlike with that bullshit. With the bullshit, they like, oh man, he's already good, man. Like, man, y'all already know he just like Roy Jones. Like, man, look, man, y'all trying to say he ain't ready. Like Zepeda, he ain't gonna go in there like that now. He going in there like, damn, okay, okay, I got dropped by him. Okay, what I gotta do? All right, I got some shit I gotta clean up. And then I'm marching forward. It's a difference. That's why I wanted to clear that up though.
Yeah, the fight was supposed to be, and just to piggyback off of the clarity, the fight was supposed to be tough against Tevin Farmer. If you saying that you fighting, if we accepted the fact that you're fighting, Tevin Farmer, who's also a defensive specialist, to get ready for the defensive specialist, and you still win the fight. Yes, you got caught by a flash knockdown, but in that fight, that's where it's supposed to happen.
Yep.
It's not supposed to happen when you get in the ring with Shakur. So now you know what to look for.
Exactly.
So I that's why I'm like, for me, I'm looking at a lot of shit that's out here, and everybody's just not looking at the overall performance and just dissecting it and saying, all right, let's take this pound of flesh, dissect it, cut it up into chops, steaks, grind some of this shit up for burger meat and shit like that. No, they're not doing none of that. The only thing that they worried about is that they cooking on is, Tevin Farmer looked good. Zepeda got dropped, and Shakur called Zepeda food.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. All right. That's what y'all want to land your plane on. The higher you try to fly the plane, when that shit run out of gas, it comes down, really, really fast. Really fast. So there's this terminal velocity is real, whether you wanna accept it or not, bro. You feel what I'm saying when the motherfucker falls. So it's just, you know,
In boxing, see, that's that whole thing that B Hop said. Boxing gonna call your bluff. They could talk all the shit he want. He could talk from now and get all that clout and have everybody believe him. But guess what? It's gonna show the same thing like last time when these guys be saying, "I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna stop them," and the same shit Boots did when he came up against that lesson. So all that clout, it can be good or bad. See, in real
Yeah.
time, it's good, but in time, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's plenty of material for people to go back and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, you could press those grapes right now, and the vintage seemed like it's gonna be good, but weather conditions, earthquakes, and all other kind of shit could easily fuck that shit up. So, at the end of the day, all right, we got you said food, but now, are you going to do the same thing you just did, where you're gonna every time this guy fights, knowing that he's got something up, and every time someone now is gonna run and holler at you and all this other kind of stuff to where they're gonna constantly ask you about the Zepedas, Zepeda. And the more you being you're gonna be like, well, Zepeda, he fool right now, he got dropped by Tevin Farmer. Now you talking all of this stuff, but you don't take the risk as Tevin Farmer, number one, and number two, what happens if Zepeda comes in there polished, completely polished? What happens then? Now you trained for the Zepeda that fought Tevin Farmer.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You trained for that guy, and that's not gonna be the guy that shows up on fight night. And your whole press conference gonna be about what happened between him and Tevin Farmer. That Tevin Farmer dropped him. Oh, if Tevin Farmer dropped him, he can't take my power. Okay. All right, so we'll see when the fight go down. Just praise him. He's a great fighter. He came through some adversity, but still showed up like a champ, and that's what champions do. That's why I'm excited to fight him. People will be like, ooh, I like that. Shakur sounding like he getting mature. I like that. And now you calling the dude food again? All right, man. All right. Watch what you say or type, man, because it's Fifth Amendment is a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Fifth Amendment is a motherfucker. Because what you say and text can and will be used against you in a court of public perception.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. It's like some of these guys are not learning the thing that they need to learn. Deb, you need to. Go ahead.
You supposed to you supposed to be like, oh man, like dang, he had a setback, but look at him, man. He looked like he a dog. Like he looked like you can't put it to where it's like he food. So you chasing food. You took a stay busy fight to wait around for your food, your delivery, your special delivery, right?
Yeah.
That's why I be trying to say it's like it don't age well, but I think they be caught up in the moment. Yeah. And now, I mean, he don't really fight for us anyway. He already said he don't fight for us. He fight for them guys across the pond, and we not, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, well, that's not even my fighter anymore. Like he fight for them guys over there. So it's like, man, they got to deal with him. So not me.
He ordered barbecue, and then before the barbecue came, he said, you know what? I'm going to order me 2 slices of pizza. I'm like, what? Bro, just wait for the barbecue then. Nah, nigga, I just need something to munch on. Right? Bro, like, please, man, please. Brian Norman Jr., Brian Norman Sr., y'all vindicated. You feel what I'm saying? Because what Rachel did, she just said it straight. And honestly, once we discussed it on your channel and you opened up the panel and we had to talk about it, it was like, okay, so that's what really happened. And we see this is what really happened. I don't really want to get in a debate with nobody on why Brian Norman didn't take the 1.7 and he wanted to do this in Vegas and Philly. That all of that shit is irrelevant.
Right. You see, and you see how that still was happening though.
Yeah.
Even after that, people were still saying, "Yeah, I know," but listen, it's like no, it ain't no. It's over after that.
Yeah, it's like you said. Yeah, I know, but what do you mean, but? If you know what I know, and we both know this shit to be actual fact, why are we gonna sit here and debate on who you claiming is ducking? Nah, I'm just saying though. Yeah, I get all of that, but he still asked for 1.7, and he's still okay. So you just want to debate over the money, or for a fight that wasn't gonna happen? Nah, you missing the point of just having a conversation about what? I want to have a conversation, but I don't want to have a conversation about that. That's gone. You feel what I'm saying? And this is where, to keep the same energy, I do my best to stay out of the Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson argument, although people love to still go back to that. Right? I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? One guy,
I stopped beating that too. I stopped beating on that for real. Like,
I'm like, listen, bro. I used to listen to that radio station, but I found out over here they play more of the hits back to back without the commercials. So that's the station I tend to tune into nowadays. I don't want to hear, about young niggas taking Viagra. I just don't want to. I grew up in a different generation to where if you needed shit like that, it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, bro, I don't want to do that no more. I'm serious. I just don't want to do that. Let's talk about now. Right now, these two guys fighting is Andromeda and the Milky Way. Too far away. It's talking millions of years they might clash. You feel what I'm saying? So why am I even going to talk about that? Brian Norman Jr. Hey, I could talk about this kid. I just want to know who he want to fight now.
Mm-hmm.
Feel what I'm saying? Are you gonna try to say, you know what? I like that energy from that Blair to Flair guy. I'm gonna go after Blair. You know what I'm saying? As a voluntary.
I think that's kind of like out of their control too, because they still got to get back in line with the options that Top Rank got for them.
Exactly.
So I was okay with Brian Senior. I was okay with Senior redeeming himself and popping out like, I told y'all. I was okay with that because he had to bear the grunt of getting shitted on all of that time until somebody's pastor came out and said it. Yeah. But going forward, I hope he don't spend the next week, just going on that. Like he gonna probably make 2 or 3 more pit stops. And I'm gonna be like, all right, you getting that off because it's some people are slow to learn. So it's just gonna sink in. It's gonna take a couple of days for it to sink in what she said and that bomb she dropped for people to be like, oh, so but after that, after the little press run he do, then I want to start hearing about Junior. I want to hear, okay, what's y'all plan? How's Junior's hand? How, more stuff that's back centric to the Normans and not riding that boot shit, because I'm gonna get frustrated about that too after long. Like, you got your get back, your high moment, the bomb was dropped. Now we want to know about Norman.
Yeah, is he fighting? Is he giving a fight is he gonna give us a fight in February or March?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's gonna take time to make the fight and go on, and that's at least 4 months right there. You know what I'm saying? So where he's at, it should be difficult to really make fights for him. You know what I'm saying? So whatever Top Rank put out there for him, I'm excited to see and just see how they're gonna try to build him and move him moving forward. You feel what I'm saying? Now just a Go way back to go talk to the MMA chick again.
Yeah, go
When
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
when the headbutt that not the second one that really fucked her eye up, but I think it was at least two before that one. To whereas she came in to throw a punch and you seen her turn her head on sideways. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You seen her turn her head sideways and dip it down as the punch was coming over. Now, from there, once that shit hit Amanda Serrano's cheekbone, it completely threw Amanda Serrano's punch off and everything.
Yep.
That shit, I thought, I was like, oh shit, and then you immediately see her cheekbone swell up, and I'm
Yep.
like, all right, the ref's about to call this and tell her, listen, you use your head again, I'm gonna disqualify you. I'm not even gonna take a point. You feel what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
when that didn't happen, I just kind of sat back in my chair and was like, okay, this is some weird shit that's going on. Like, she been headbutting this girl since then near the beginning of this fight, and on top of that, now that she bust her open, whenever they in the clinch, she rubbing her head, trying to rub her head all in the scar, and Rosie Perez and Roy Jones is like, yeah, it's an old school tactic. That's what you're supposed to do. Got to get that head, and you want to rub that head up in there so they stop the fight. And I'm like, you guys are actually encouraging this shit?
I'm trying to tell you.
Wow.
I'm trying to tell you.
What the fuck did Amanda Serrano do to deserve that? Like, I mean, first of all, what the fuck is Rosie Perez doing there commentating a boxing match?
That's what my lady said. My lady said exactly. She said, what the fuck is she doing commentating? I mean, come on now. That's exactly what my lady said, verbatim.
You know what I'm saying? That's the part that was fucking me up. And I'm like, all right, Cedric and the Entertainer looked like they told him, nah, we want you to tell a couple of jokes. And then when he got there in that comedy outfit,
They say he looked like the King of Zamunda.
For real. It was just like, bro, do you even know why you here? You know what I'm saying? And it looked like he would have honestly said, nah, I don't know. They told me about some French fries at the concession stand. I thought I'd come by, try him out. I don't know why the fuck I'm here. I don't even know what to say. I don't know. I have no idea who any of these people are except Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, wow, this is crazy. And who else? What was that? Jerry Jones?
Yeah, Jerry Jones, and they
the
had
owner of the Dallas Cowboys. Like, the fuck does he know about boxing, bro? What are y'all doing?
Andre Ward was there with his bowling shirt on.
Oh, hell yeah.
They had Evander. They should have had Evander in the middle because he was having, I don't know if he needed an aid or something, like a hearing joint or something, but he was in the mix. And then Lennox Lewis kept being funny. He was like, you think he gonna bite again? He's like, that's not what I said. You think he gonna bite somebody's ear off again? He's like, nah, I didn't.
I was just like, yo, if this shit wasn't so funny, it would be sad. You know, and I was just like, I really thought that fight was going to be stopped and the point was going to be taken away or whatever because of all of those headbutts. But
bro, she was on her way to stopping that girl, bro.
Yes,
and
sir.
I've seen this happen. I know you've seen it, but headbutts can change the complexion of a fight, like especially, and it's sad that it happens, but like when I seen that girl, she was like grabbing her, clenching her, leaning her over the ropes, and you can see her nudging her head. I'm like, what is the ref like? Do the ref need LASIK surgery? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, and the commentators are telling us, no, that's all right. That's the type of behavior you should be doing in this high level boxing match. You should be doing that stuff because this is part of boxing. Oh, okay. Just like a motherfucker throwing a hook, but then following it up with an elbow is part of boxing, but it's frowned upon. you know. But we in a weird day and age, man, and you know, a lot of the norms that we grew up in and looking at boxing and shit like that, that level of integrity is gone. It's gone for the dollar bill because look at the
Yep.
spectacle that was on display when we just think about the card itself. Where
Yep.
in the fucking street would people allow a 27-year-old to fight a 58-year-old? Like you see a 27-year-old and a 58-year-old square getting ready to square off in the parking lot. Y'all gonna run right over to the 27-year-old and grab him first, then grab the old dude and be like, "Nah, OG, man, it's all right, man. Stupid ass young niggas, you know, don't even worry about it, OG." But I
Yep.
get it. It's the sport of boxing, and y'all wanted to say the triumphant return. This is history. Mike Tyson makes his return to boxing. At 58, he's making his return.
Yeah, man. It
Man,
was
stretch
bad.
that shit up, man.
It was bad, man. It was just bad, man. And you know, but that's you know, in the opportunity that was given, because I called it. I think the other day I called it like a poison pill.
Yeah,
It's like a poison pill where, yeah, you know, you got to take the shenanigans that Jake and them do, but then what he's doing for women's boxers and the money they getting paid, and yeah, you know, if Mario would have, you know, shoot got to shine. Mario got to defend his strap. Like, yeah, you know, it's some nutritional value, but it's the slope or the trajectory that we going, especially doing it in that kind of arena, because you heard Shaq and Grunt Shark like, yeah, we getting ready to. I like, see, now y'all about to water it down, and y'all about to devalue the guys that really put their life on the line, that's really skilled, like how an electrician is, or a plumber, or
yeah.
somebody with that
Cooking
skill in
shows
it.
with
You're about to
cooking
devalue them for the sake of some buffoonery, man.
cooking shows versus real chefs. People
Yes.
see all of these dudes on TV and they tell yo, listen, see, you gotta understand the flavor for this and this and this, or these battle contests where they want you to do 8 to 10 hours of bacon in 4 hours. No, that's not how it really goes. That's not how it really goes. And now you got anyone thinking that just because a motherfucker's on TV, he's a real chef. Like, wow, okay, no problem. If that's what you want to think.
Mm-hmm.
Now you make my job harder, but me personally, the silver lining in it is this: I work harder. Now I get to show you the difference between what you see on TV and what I do. So it's hard, and when you look at how these guys are devaluing the makeup of boxing, the integrity of boxing, it's like, wow, what is going on here? This is like AI taking over everything else. I live in a small town with a factory. You feel what I'm saying? Now the whole factory is going autonomous, and nobody in my town basically has a job but 5 people that, you know, went through a training course to learn how to read the troubleshoot for this autonomous system. You got to sometimes understand that, you know, progress may put you out of business.
Yes.
May put you in a position where you lose your home and your livelihood, all for the sake of progress. No, boxing is bigger now. Look at how much money is involved. Yeah, but look at how much buffoonery is involved. You
Let me
got
ask,
guys. Go ahead.
did you hear at the end when he said, and this is what they all do, because apparently he been saying like, one day I'm gonna fight Canelo, one day I'm gonna fight Canelo. So after he, you know, after they rendered the decision and they asked him, he said, "Oh man, Canelo know what it is. He need me. I don't need him."
Oh my God.
He said, "He need me. I don't need him."
That is crazy. Like, Canelo Alvarez really needs Jake Paul.
It's a slippery slope. I'm like, man, it's like, you know, They show us in the movies all the time, like you said with the AI. Like it's this movie called what was it, X Robotica?
Yeah, I know what movie you're talking about.
That's it. That's you know what I'm saying. That's what it is. Like you want it, and it's starting to show more and more. We want it. We ask for these things. You know, you ask for the circus. Don't get mad when a tiger bites you in the ass or one of them elephants. You asked for this.
Yeah, don't get
You
mad.
wanted more exotic animals. You wanted more risk. You wanted the snakes wasn't just good to be able to see out there. You wanted somebody walking through the stands. You know what I'm saying? And then one bit you. Don't you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Don't you want a circus? Don't get mad if a clown sprayed you with water. It's part of the show. So this is what you wanted. So this is what you gonna get. You feel what I'm saying? Now you have to deal with the consequences of how these things are changing now. But yet and still, you want these things, but you're also not taking into consideration, if I get these things, then more than likely, when this entity finally is done with this, and now we've got all of this, everybody expecting all of these big numbers. How do fights get made now? When the promotional companies weren't willing to pay half that before this guy stepped in.
Listen, what people don't really understand is that the matchmaking is getting ready. The matchmaking is getting ready to fall off of a cliff. And tell me if you haven't peeped this common theme. On Friday night and on today's night, you kept hearing on both sides. Now these are two. That was Netflix and their commentary, and that was Real Season their commentary. In both of those programs, there was this common theme to saying, "Oh well, yeah, I mean, well, you know, it's what they say. It's it's a Latino night. You already know it's." And I had that theme because somebody was talking about one of them fighters. He was like, "Oh man, well he signed the MVP. You know how this is supposed to go. You're gonna get that. So because you signed with MVP, what's gonna happen? Like that guy Jahan Ingram, right? I was trying to get into him. Like I was trying to get into him early on when he was over there with Floyd, and I was like, okay, what's so special? I seen him on the card in Atlanta, and some dude from I think this dude was from like Mongolia or something. Mixed his ass, and I said, man, he not like the way he be talking, and for that dude and like the adjustments, mixed his ass because he was out there with Truck Simpson. They walking around like they were superstars and shit, right?
Okay.
And so they was going through some issues like a lot of people that go over there to TMT were having, and so he signed up with MVP. I do not expect for them to give this dude no sliders, no curveballs. You know what I'm saying? Or if like back in the day, I don't know if you played kickball. I used to ask mine. I want mine slow and bouncy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Roll it to me slow and bouncy, and then you do that shit 3 times, and it ain't slow and bouncy. I'm called a new pitcher. Yeah. So the matchmaker is gonna go down. Think about today. Think about the controversy of the Zepeda and the Tevin Farmer. So if Tevin Farmer was signed to let's say Tevin Farmer was let's say Tevin Farmer was with Top Rank and that fight went down, who would have got the nod?
That's an interesting question.
You see what I'm saying? So when you get these guys that you say, oh man, look at what he's doing for promotion, he's getting all this money. They're giving you all this money because it's a theatrical part to it, and they're gonna make it look like, look, they're excellent. Like, yeah, it's gonna be a little splash of adversity, but our guys are going to win. So if you sign a real boxer over there to MVP, you think they're gonna really go in there? You think they really gonna put somebody in the opposite end of Jahan Ingram that can really push his shit in? They almost fucked up with it with Mario Barrios and Ramos because they didn't think Ramos was going to do that. They just didn't account for the fact that Barrios just had a baby, just like Jared Anderson, just like Diego Pacheco, just like Keyshawn was the only one, but then you got that version of Lemos that was just, that it was that version of Lemos, whatever. Yeah. He missed weight. He did, same shit they be saying and knocking around for. He missed weight. He looked like he was in there like a wild man, whatever. You get that version.
Yeah.
You see? So
that's when the silk sheets start to matter, bro.
You're gonna get when you sign a real boxer to MVP and you start putting more of these people in the game who really want to succeed. They're marquee people that they got signed on contract. They're not gonna be able to let them take hits like that. Why? Because that's gonna be like, oh damn, I can go in there and get my ass mixed, get a bag, and then go somewhere else. They're not gonna let that happen. They want to keep making money with you because they got you on the contract. And it's voluntary. Like the people that they picking, they're choosing those people on the other end, but it's gonna be less like how we got it now where they going by the rankings. Like if it's a champion, you go, they don't have to do that. They just got to pick a guy that can, like, maybe he was on Casanat show or he was doing this and he happened to, you know, be like the dude, like that one dude that Jake Paul did. It was the black dude that he brought down from Florida. He had the keloid on his chest. The nigga was ripped as fuck, man. He kept saying, man, I see a first round knockout. I don't know if he said first round or third round knockout, and he actually knocked the nigga out in the first or third round. I'm like, man, if that's really a real, because that was a real boxer, dude. Yeah. It was a real boxer. I was like, man, come on. When he did that to Anderson Silva, when he did that to that Diaz dude, I said I used to watch UFC. I said, ain't no way on God's green earth Nate Diaz would ever let that dude do that to him. Nate Diaz is one of them dudes around the way that you gonna have to fight his ass every day. And if he don't win, he fight you tomorrow. He just got that fucking, nope, I'm fighting. We fighting. Like, it's no way he would be able to do that to that
Nate. I've seen Nate be a bloody mess.
Yes.
Throw a 5-piece, and at the end of that 5-piece, he slapped the shit out you and laughed. The Compton slap. That's the Diaz brothers. That's what that shit comes from. So it's like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, he about to get knocked the fuck out fucking with Nate. Nate ain't the nigga to play with. Nate don't even like reporters asking him any stupid questions. Because if he blowing a joint or whatever, he like, yo, don't ask me no stupid questions to blow my eye.
Yep.
You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I was like, nah, Jacob. Well, this is the end of the Jake Paul train because Nate about to sleep him. And then you get outboxed by Jake Paul, and you box too. Both of the brothers have a boxing background. That's why I'm like, nah, bro, nah. However the show go, yeah, these are spectacles. Yeah, all right, I get it. I won't never tune into one of them shits.
It's going to trickle down to real boxers, man. It's going to trickle down to real boxers, man. And people going to be like, yeah, I'm going to go get a bag with them. And it's going to become more and more novelty, man, because they got to keep the bag going. They're not going to put that man in there with nobody that can really risk him getting, like, flatline for real, you know. And then it's gonna trickle down to the boxers, man. And then the fact that the way that Katie Taylor shit went against Serrano, it was almost like no matter what, she was gonna get that win, man.
Yeah.
You know, that's the vibe I got. And I said, see, that's why it's like, yeah, he got you paid, but see, that's the gift and the curse. Because you ain't gonna complain and fuck up the bag because you got that big ass bag, but then that's coming along with you actually selling that L. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You got paid for that L. Because they're gonna rob you. And that's what I don't like. I'm like, get your money, you enterprising. It's nothing about like, cause this is the American dream where everybody want to go into business and be successful. I would never knock another man hustle for their business as long as they upright and upstanding. I would never do that. But this happened to be boxing. Ain't nobody just gonna get up one day and be like, yeah, man, I'm gonna take out I'm gonna compete with Tom Brady. It's not set up like that, bro.
Yeah.
You know, but I ain't gonna beat that dead horse, man.
Yeah, it was a spectacle. For a lot of us, it was disappointing. For some people, it's like, you know, watching a person be killed in front of you and you just can't take your eyes away from it. You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if the 20 mil and Mike Tyson said afterwards, you know, hey, listen, I don't give a fuck what people say. I just wanted to come in there to see what I could do at this age. I let my anger go once I heard Mike say that. I was like, all right, I ain't mad at this situation no more. If this is your reasoning for doing it, Mike, just to see. I mean, you just had a great one with Roy. That was funny as hell. That was mad entertaining. You feel what I'm saying? Watching you and Roy talk shit to each other, and then watch you and Roy in the ring. Hey, that was magical to me. This one, I don't know what that funk is, and it definitely ain't truffles or Gouda cheese, but I don't know what that funk is. So at the end of the day, it was for the real boxers who are on the card. You feel what I'm saying? It was an interesting night. You know what I'm saying? That was worth tuning into. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of the outcomes and things like that, it was still worth tuning into. As far as the biggest winners, hindsight and shit like that. Yeah, I think you pretty much got it spot on. I would love to see the counterpart to that. Who were the biggest losers?
Well, it was more. It just, I don't like them cluttered thumbnails. It was more winners, but I said, what are the most trickiest ones?
Yeah.
And because look, also, I was gonna ask you before we close, man. I was gonna ask you, did you see how they was asking Virgil about his next move? Because Virgil was over there, and Virgil basically said that it's either gonna be Bud, Fundora, or Boots. Did you see that? Like, he said,
yeah, I saw that.
So they over there talking, and they said they're gonna release that next week. Now, I sat back and I looked and I said I could have put Boots on there because, for one, Norman, the activity gap didn't opened up. So now his inactivity factor then went up. He actually saw that Mario Barrios was more vulnerable, and it's film out there as to what mistakes Mario Barrios still have in his tendencies. So Boots got to sat back and look at that, and so now he might be looking at Barrios like food. So in a sense, he won, because now the heat is going to be off of him and his dominant performance, because he still dominated Karan. He just got buckled like 5 times. He got hit more than what we wanted to see. So even though he had a dominant performance, now it can shift over to Mario Barrios, who's looking more like food. And maybe, just maybe, they might be like, all right, man, let's give Mario a little bit more money, because we know you can look spectacular against him. You see what I'm saying? So Boots might have won.
No, I was just saying to clean that shit up. Just to clean up the mess Boots made. Barrios would be a good out. I don't think he's going up to 54 to see Virgil.
Nah, and they still not saying my man's name.
Yeah, they won't
They ain't saying Bakram name like at all.
They won't say Boachuk, they won't say Bakram, and they definitely not saying Majumov. You feel what I'm saying? And Boachuk and Bakram are both coming off losses. I mean, Boachuk and Majumov are both coming off losses.
Yeah, they gotta see each other now. That's doing big things, if you ask me.
Yeah. I like that fight. If that one actually gets made, and I think it will, that's woo.
Oh, I think it's in line. Yeah, I think that's what's about to happen.
Oh
yeah, I think that's on the deck. I think that's on deck already.
Yeah. I heard them talking about it, and I was like, nah. Y'all can't be. Come on, man. What's going on? Why these European dudes could easily make the fights of the best fighting the best, and we can't get this shit over here in America, bro? Majumov versus Boachuk? Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, that's a mega fight, man.
Yeah, they getting ready to do it.
Boxing, that's a mega fight.
They getting ready to do it, man.
Oh, that's going.
And it was no energy for Virgil to go back and see Boachuk. That's why I'm like, the trilogies that we should have, we miss out. Why? Because people don't want to risk the bag. I'm like, you should, cause let's be honest. What's more of an argument? Would it be more of an argument to see Tank versus Ice Out Pitbull Cruz again, or more of an argument to see Virgil versus Bodywork again?
For me, my argument would be I gotta see Virgil versus Boachuk again.
Exactly. Because he dropped that man twice. Like, you know what I'm saying? And he didn't come back like Mason and finish him off.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It was so, you know, that's why, man, it's this weird energy, man. Like, people, just like that old shit. I'm going to go back to this and I'm going to close out on this. I'm going to land my plane on this before you get off and then let you land. But, like, I'm going to go back to this. They were saying that Tank Davis aged Lomachenko out and he's too old and he could do whatever he wants so he can walk off. Mind you, this dude got like 21 fights. But they were championing Jake Paul, who's been more active. He's 27 years old, way bigger. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were championing for that fight and for him saying that, oh man, the young lion got to put out the old lion. That's how it goes. Like, no, this is novelty. This, you falling into, like, come on, man. This is not Peter Pan. And this is boxing. It's not like they not going 1v1 on a video game or they out there playing one-on-one basketball. That's different.
Yeah.
Somebody can die. So I'm like, you know, I'm gonna keep my stakes in the ground, and I'm going to cater to the 5%, because now that I know that they catering to 95% of the people who they just wanted to be able to come by and support and get a couple giggles and shit. I'm trying to preserve the sport.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I'm gonna land at. But what you want to say before we wrap up, bro?
I just want to say this, man. It was a great joint in boxing. Yeah, I did see some of the same thing, and you know, it kind of pissed me off earlier and shit like that, to where I was like, I'm just gonna put not interested on my algorithm, because I don't want to see shit like that. To me, I fired a real weapon system, a real steel weapon system, and I play a game called Airsoft with replicas of these weapon systems. I know the fucking difference. That one, it'll sting, the other one will kill.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, just I appreciate you, Jake, for giving, you know, these women boxers a legitimate platform, that they're not scrounging and fighting in inside somebody's living room who just owns a mansion and shit like that. You giving them a real platform. They're getting mega eyes on them, right? But you have to clean this mess up you created with this Tyson shit. Like I said in the text last night, on paper, it might have looked good. It might have been fun. But as we watched it in real time, there's a certain part of us that all felt, this is kind of dirty. I may need a shower after.
Yeah, it was cringe, man. It was cringe.
You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you got to clean this up. Granted, you gave him his props. You said he a legend. You appreciate him, whatever. But your publicity stunt to now say for your next event, yeah, he's just coming off a victory with Mike Tyson. Please do not put that in the lead ups. Although I know you will, but at the end of the day, bro, just clean this up. Don't talk about Canelo. Hey, you got Conor McGregor calling you out. He wants vengeance for Mike Tyson. I don't see anything wrong with that. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if Jake, you want to clean it up, take that Conor McGregor fight. I still got you beating him, but take the fight, because it'll be a bit more entertaining. And I think between the two of you, the way y'all will get together and start selling this fight, it'll be Conor versus Mayweather, kind of all over again, but not as impactful, because neither one of you niggas brings to the table that the name Floyd Mayweather brings. But for this day and age, I think it'll be good for us. You know, that's the fight I'd like to see you make next, Jake. Let me see you and Conor. You feel what I'm saying? So that's where I'm gonna land that plane. You know what I'm saying? Let's just clean it up, and you know, that's it. Hopefully on that next one, it'll be the rematch between the MMA chick and the boxer. So we'll see.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you stopping by, man, and adding on to the show, man. Always a pleasure, man, chopping it up about that boxing, man.
Yeah, for sure, bro. For sure. Salute to you, bro.
Salute, bro. Have a good evening, bro. Well, yeah, I'm gonna be honest, man. If I had to say who I want to fight, if I actually had to say who I want to fight, who I would want Jake to choose, then it would actually be I want him to revisit that Hasim Rahman. Since you beat a legend and you skunked the legend in Mike Tyson, Hasim Rahman Jr., he shouldn't be no problem for you. And he was about that smoke. But I think when they saw how serious he was about making weight and shit, and how he was really going to do your ass when you got in there, then the plans changed, and all of a sudden, they bailed out. I think that's when they got Anderson Silva. But I don't keep that close involved into it because I don't really care. I just stay abreast of it just enough to know, just know enough, a little bit enough to know to stay dangerous about it. That's it. But if you're gonna choose somebody, my vote, if I could cast my ballot, go ahead and call Hasim Rahman Jr. I think he'll be your Huckleberry, Jake. I think he'll be your Huckleberry. But yeah, that's it, man. Support the channel. I appreciate the growth and all the new subscribers. I don't know why YouTube didn't want to let me be great. I was supposed to go on at 8, and I was sitting here trying to get everything right. I had everything right, and the camera wouldn't work. They wouldn't let me upload my thumbnail. It was just about restarting the computer, like doing a whole bunch of things. They didn't want me to be great. They didn't want this message. I don't think they like the thumbnail. I don't think they like the title. I don't think they like nothing. But I said, hey, listen, man, the truth is the truth. So I said, I'm going to come on. Unfortunately, I couldn't show my face because YouTube is doing something, man. Like, StreamYard been tripping lately, man. I'm going to have to start looking at something else. I'm going to put in a trouble ticket, man. But I appreciate everybody who came through. I just say support the little guys, the small fledgling channels, you know what I'm saying? And help us keep putting stakes in the ground. Like the videos, comment, let me know. You don't have to always agree with me. This is not a yes man channel. This is just fruits and veggies, not that Reggie, that fact-based content. The alternative to opinion-based. Let's not get divided and conquered, man. Don't get too emotional about what somebody said and do. Read the tea leaves, go do your homework, do your research before you get ready to smoke your bro over 2 fighters not fighting, or somebody saying some shit online that we all can reasonably deduct that was cap. Take your time, man, and don't get divided out here, man. We want all these young guys to be successful. We want them to be able to feed their family. We all want them to be able to return home at night. As fans, yes, we want our pound of flesh, but we don't want to see no shit like Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, regardless of how much money it's making, because a man at that age shouldn't be getting hit in the head like that, man. I don't even know how that shit got cleared by the commission, especially with the man having that knee brace on, man. That's all I really had, man. But again, salute to everybody who came through and showed some love. Thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. Well, we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.